Russia pounds Ukraine's military infrastructure. Hey everybody, this is Marcel with Ernie Racing News, January 24th, 2024. Today's story: Russia claimed responsibility for missile strikes on Kiev and Kharkov on Tuesday and says that the strikes were targeting military locations, quote, particularly sites producing rockets and other munitions. Ukraine claimed that civilian had been injured in the attacks and that the missile hit residential buildings. Russia denied this, saying that they, quote, do not target social infrastructure, residential areas, or civilians, unlike the Kiev regime. So Ukraine did attack a civilian market on Sunday. I did a story about this yesterday, guys, killing at least 27 people. The United Nations condemned that attack, but did not mention Ukraine specifically, so they condemned no one. A spokesperson for Ukraine's military said that Tuesday's attacks killed one person, but it is not clear if it was a civilian. The mayor of Kharkiv said that residential buildings were damaged. Quote, at the moment, as a result of the Russian terrorist attack on Kharkiv, 30 residential buildings were damaged, about 1,000 windows were broken, and it is minus 7 degrees Celsius outside, according to Mayor Terkov. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports today that Ukraine needs 155mm shells to keep up its fight, but now has to compete with Israel for this, and the U.S. is struggling to keep up. NATO signed a $1.2 billion deal to purchase these weapons on Tuesday. NATO is funded through its member states, so even if your country isn't directly sending more aid to Ukraine, your tax dollars still are. Here is NATO.int. NATO concludes contracts for another $1.2 billion in artillery ammunition. On Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg and General Manager of NATO Support and Procurement Agency Stacey Cummings concluded contracts for the purchase of around 220,000 155mm artillery shells worth $1.2 billion US dollars. That's just ammunition. $1.2 billion of ammunition, guys. 220,000 of those artillery shells. This demonstrates that NATO's tried and tested structure for joint procurement are delivering, and said the Security General. Russia's war in Ukraine has become a battle for ammunition, so it is important that allies refill their own stocks as we continue to support Ukraine, support the diplomacy, support the non-elections in Ukraine, support the totalitarian dictator leadership and warmongering of the USA, and push through the puppet regime of Zelensky, Ukraine. Since allied leaders agreed NATO's defense production action plan in July 2023, the NSPA has agreed contracts for around $10 billion worth of ammunition. And at the bottom, these record-breaking contracts demonstrate the capacity of the transatlantic defense industry. What it does is it shows you guys that $15 trillion military-industrial complex. It's that simple. The biggest industry in the world is war, the military-industrial complex. You got to learn about it. Anyways, here's the actual article on TASS. The Russian forces carry out group strikes on Ukrainian ammunition production facilities. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. This is Ernie Racing.